Hey guys, Below Average Utah Dad here. So I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to do two videos in one. I'm going to do a short. So what you see in this video is also going to be in the short. And if you're watching the short, you should definitely check out the long form video of this. It might not even be the full length that I'm thinking it will be. But anyways, what is the best carry pistol? I don't know. How do I approach this? I really like Glock pattern. I say Glock pattern because, as it has been pointed out several times over, this is not a Glock. Okay? It's also not loaded. This is a PSA dagger. But it does have an aftermarket barrel. It has an aftermarket trigger on it, and it has an aftermarket bar on the aftermarket trigger. So, what makes this one unique? Why do I like this pattern of pistol? Well, here, I'll put the other one back up. So I got this is the full size. So this is the equivalent of a Glock 17. Doesn't have the original barrel that the PSA dagger came with. Same with this one. Different barrel. One with a threaded barrel on this one. All right? And you'll notice it doesn't have the stock trigger that comes on the dagger. The slide, however, on both of these is the original slide. And then the guide rod is, I think the guide rod actually is the stock guide rod, because it comes with, PSA has a pretty good guide rod, I feel like. Anyways, I went with Glock pattern because I had previously built my Aero Precision, which is up here. And it uses Glock magazines. So I wanted to go to something that it didn't matter whether I grabbed this magazine, because it fits, all right, in either of these two pistols. And you guys have already seen this goes in my Aero Precision, my EPC9. So I wanted something that was simple. I wanted something that I could trust. I got these for a really good deal. The triggers I paid about $40 for. Those are aftermarket. The barrels I think I paid maybe $50 for. And they have been good barrels so far. But I'm going to kind of give you, okay, this is the micro. I want you to see what you're looking at. So right now, this one has the bottom hinged shoe for the trigger safety. So if I do that, look, nothing. It's only when I actuate this that it changes. So I'm going to kind of show you on here what it's like. So I pull it lowers down, lifts up that shoe, and it just kind of keeps going. There's not really a wall kind of one there. So, and it kind of a wall, it's a little squishy. And then you saw it kind of jumped and then it went. So see how it slid, and then it's like a second wall, and then it goes. I don't really like that. I'm trying to find a different trigger for the micro dagger. But for this, okay, really light, really easy. Again, doesn't do anything. That's the safety. If that's not actuated, it doesn't do anything, FUD boys. So, trigger on the shoe. That's it. That's the wall. That's as far as it has to go. And then, nice, solid, smooth. Okay, I'm going to show you the reset. That's it. It's nothing. And it's the same on the smaller one. It's really smooth. It's nothing. So, kind of I know that's not a lot. This isn't a long video, but this is, in my opinion, if you can afford to get a Glock pattern, I don't care if it's an OEM Glock, I don't care if it's a Ruger RXM, I don't care if it's a PSA Dagger, I don't care if it's a Bear Creek Arsenal, if it's a P80 lower, and you get stuff from Delta Team Tactical. I really, it doesn't matter to me. I prefer this pattern of rifle. It doesn't mean it has to be OEM. I'm going to reiterate that. I'm not a Glock boy, so to speak, but I am a fan of the ease of use, the reliability, the simplicity of finding aftermarket parts. If I go buy a part for a Glock 19, it'll fit on this pistol. If I go buy a part for a Glock 43 or 43X, it'll fit on this pistol. All right. If I go get something for a Glock 17, it'll fit on this pistol. If it fits a 17, it'll probably fit a 19. With the exception of the magazine. If you have a magazine that's designed specifically for a 17, or sorry, if you have a magazine that's designed for the Glock 19, it may not reach all the way up in the Glock 17 size. So, I guess in conclusion, I would say I am a fan. I'm not an exclusive. This is just what I have right now. I've had Smith & Wesson. I've had Taurus. I like both of them. There's other pistols that I still want to get and own. And maybe I'll switch. I'm looking at that Ruger RXM. I'm looking at the Bear Creek Arsenal 10 because it kind of looks nice given what it is. Shadow Systems is a great example of a pistol that you can get that right out the box, it just has really good parts to it. That's one thing that a lot of people talk about is you end up kind of customizing Glock in a lot of different ways. If you go with Glock, make sure you get something that has a cut already for an optic. I think it's important to learn how to shoot iron sights first, but learning how to shoot an optic on a pistol changes the way that you shoot, and for the better. It's a lot more reflexive. It's a lot easier. You just learn to trust what's there. And I can't recommend Hollow Sun enough. I'm not sponsored by them, but they make a really good product. It's got a solar panel on the top, so it charges. This is what's keeping my my optic light on right now. And if it was dark, it would once the charge from the panel is out, it would switch over to the backup battery, which is installed right here, and it's just a simple watch battery. So I would, again, Glock pattern pistol, aftermarket trigger. This one again is from Delta Team Tactical. It's called the TF Tactical 2.0 Lightning. Short reset, short pull. Very, very, very nice trigger. Very smooth, simple to install. And you can even modify that trigger. You could get one of the, I think it's Ghost Ink. They make a trigger bar for Glock triggers that you could install on it, on any Glock trigger, and that would make it even lighter. I think right now I'm at about 2.5, so I don't think I need to go lighter. I think what I have is maybe even lighter than what that Ghost Ink would do, but that doesn't matter. This is probably, of my 3 pistols, this is my favorite pistol to EDC, because it's compact, it's comfortable to carry. I can still carry a larger capacity magazine if I want to. It is the standard Glock 9mm type magazines, so I have a large versatility of options in terms of capacity. This has my optic on it. If I really wanted to swap it out, I could very easily swap it out and throw it on my my full-size pistol. Really easy to swap if I felt like I needed that. But I can carry all the magazines that my full-size uses. They'll work in this. And it's the same overall. The pistol grip is the only part that doesn't come down. And I could get an extension or a magwell, whatever, for my magazines. But anyways, I'm a huge fan of the Glock 19, 19X style pistols or pattern pistols. Make sure you get it cut, that you, whatever you do, if you go this way, make sure you get it cut so that you can install an optic. If you're going to carry, I highly recommend you don't use Magpul magazines. I think Magpul magazines are great for the range. Get OEM magazines. That's what I have for carrying. Oh, they're in my pocket. Here. OEM. So I'm carrying a 17 round OEM magazine. And that's what it looks like. I could get a little extender plate for it if I wanted to. It's not that big a deal. The only thing I might, that I haven't done, I might upgrade the magazine release. It's not bad. It's just a stock OEM Glock magazine release. And I've just read a lot about how going with something that's a little bit more upgraded will work better. But yeah, that's my take. In my opinion, the best carry pistol that you can get, if your budget allows for it, I am going to go back to what I always say. Your budget determines what you can and can't do. But if you want to go with a Glock style pistol, this is a great place to start. You can go OEM, you can go Palmetto. If you're going to replace a bunch of stuff on your pistol, find the one that's going to cost you the least amount of money and that's the easiest to accessorize. If you want to spend a little more, like literally, if you're going to buy an OEM Glock, maybe look at a Shadow Systems because it's already upgraded most of the things that you would want, and it's only like $100 more. But if you want to do the work yourself, Palmetto is a great place to start. Bear Creek Arsenal is a great place to start. If you want something that's closer to just an OEM Glock, get an OEM Glock or get like a law enforcement trade-in if you don't mind buying a used gun. Or look at that Ruger RXM. It's pretty impressive. Little love child between Ruger and Magpul on the Glock pattern pistol. But this is, again, I'm partial. It's the one that I built. It's the one that I designed based off of what was available on PSA's website and the parts that I could find. In my opinion, this is the best EDC pistol that you can get. A Glock 19 pattern pistol with an optic, with an upgraded trigger and an upgraded barrel, with an option for putting a suppressive device if you want. Carry cuts, smooth so it doesn't catch on things. It's just a good pistol. So take that for what it's worth, but I'm just a below average guy who happens to be in Utah and a dad. So as long as you're carrying every day and always carrying with a round in the chamber, that's all that matters to me. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks.